Look at Acts 10:34 and 35. Acts 10:34 and 35. Peter has just been told in a vision to go pursue Cornelius, a God-fearing, seeking Gentile. And so Peter makes a connection, and all things start to happen, and Cornelius surrenders his life to Christ, and Peter says, I now realize how true it is that God does not show favoritism, but accepts men from every nation who fear him and do what is right. See, for Peter, there's not two covenants. There's one. God has always been about a priesthood of all believers. He's always been about the local church, the body of believers, people who would come together in community and say, you know what? We're going to come to him in humility, the living cornerstone, and we're going to build on him. We are going to align our choices with him. And the whole, the spiritual house, is more important than any one stone. And we're going to connect other people to the living cornerstone. And Peter uses words from the Old Testament that God uses for Israel. He uses for the church. And New Testament writers do that all along. There's one covenant. There's one cornerstone. There's one people. It's those who would humble themselves to Jesus Christ as Lord. Cornerstone of their life. Build on that foundation. Align your life with his and connect other people with him through mercy. I want you to write this down. How do you want me to do that, Mitch? How do you want me to do that? Write down evangelistic relationships. Evangelistic relationships. Do you realize that if you're connected to the living cornerstone in community with other people, in a discipleship relationship, that when you encounter another person, that's a divine appointment. You're revealing the Spirit of Christ to them. And whether they're a believer or not, you will find him there at work. And you do it with mercy, through serving other people, letting them see this light. Jesus said if they see that light, they'll praise my Father in heaven. So go. Let people see the light of your good works of serving other people. Let them see the living cornerstone, because they'll worship him because they see you, a spiritual house in community, in discipleship, and in evangelistic relationships. It's an outflow. Let me tell you more about this story of Mike and Bethany Collins and Chase Corbin. Well, on November 1st, Bethany gave birth to Chase Corbin Collins. He was 1 pound, 11 ounces. He was due February 8th, but he was born November 1st. And the doctors once again said he's not going to make it. And the community of believers, a priesthood of all believers, a local church, the people they were in community with, came around them and began to serve them daily in the hospital as they had been prior. Doctors and nurses are taking note and saying, what's going on here? This is different. And Chase starts growing. And it gets like 6 or 7 pounds. And they're talking about, you know what? You're probably going to be able to bring him home. But his heart and his lungs, they're not fully developed. The mold's going to be a problem. Mike and Bethany learned they can't live in Mike's old bachelor pad where there was plenty of mold. And so an elder comes along from here at this church and says, you know what, I think I can help you. He was told about the story by her community of friends. And they want to know if maybe we could do something to help them out. And he said, you know, I think I can. And that elder called somebody he knew who owned a brand new apartment unit, never been lived in. And he said, you know, could we make that rent kind of attractive for them? We'll still pay a fair market. And the guy said, yeah. So he also got a group of people to cover their mortgage payment at their old house. Priesthood of all believers coming alongside in community. And that gets covered. Well, after one sermon a few Sundays ago, we're all praying with you afterwards. And a couple comes up to me and says, our adult daughter has 2 weeks left to make a legal abortion. She's pregnant, and she's going to do it. We want to pray that she chooses life. And so we cried together, we prayed together, and we prayed that she would choose life. Same elder is aware of this, a person here at church. And he found out that the big reason she was going to abort the child is she didn't think she could afford the child. But if she could get food stamps, she'd keep the child. She couldn't live with her parents to have food stamps. She would need to live somewhere else. Where do you think the elder thought of for her to live? The moldy bachelor pad. So he goes to Mike and Bethany, and he said, you're getting your mortgage paid for, you're okay on your rent. He said, if the same choice that you made for life was available to somebody else, and they would do that if they could live in your house, would you let them? Yes, because their lives were aligned with the living cornerstone, and they connected other people to him, and that girl chose life. And she lives in that place, and people are coming around her and serving her, and she's seeing the spiritual house of love, and she's experiencing it. And it's just amazing how this little life of Chase Corbin Collins is leading into another little life. Evangelistic relationships. People see the good works, and they're drawn to God. Well, last Saturday night, I got a phone call that little Chase Corbin Collins, his organs were not going to make it, and they were going to shut down, and there would be no heart or lung transplant. And so I went there Saturday night, and that community of believers who have come alongside and served this couple because they were in community with all the doctors and nurses watching. I got with them, and I was moved by the story that I'd known taking place, by the life that begat life. And I see this situation, and I recognize that the Spirit of God is at work in Mike and Bethany in a mighty way, and in their friends, in their community. And we pray. And you know what? He stays with us. And Sunday, we got a group of elders together, and we went and we prayed again. And he stayed with us. But on Monday morning, we lost Chase Corbin Collins. We believe that he's in the hands of God and with Jesus right now. And what I saw Monday morning will stay with me the rest of my life. Because that spiritual house with Mike and Bethany, that humility that built their foundation on the cornerstone, that aligned their lives, their choices, to keep this baby with the cornerstone, who loved each other so much, loved their child so much, people loved them so much, that they connected people to that living cornerstone. When I saw them holding their baby in their hands, I knew there was only one hope. And that only hope is Jesus Christ. He is the life. He is the living stone, capital S. And he has designed it so that we would humble ourselves and come together in community in a way that would draw other people to God. And little Chase Corbin Collins, with his life and his parents' life, they did it. And there was a picture taken of him while he was still with us. And I want you to see it. It's an open, outstretched hand. And I think that's a picture of Jesus' hand to you and to me, saying, come on, build your life on me. Not some man, not some idea, not some religion, but life is only going to be found when you build your spiritual house on me, church, in humility. I think it's a picture of Jesus Christ who's alive, saying, would you please align your choices with me? Align every thought, every feeling, every action, every choice with my will for your life. I'm the benchmark. Align with me. And I think he's saying, would you please open your hand and serve in community those in your church and outside your church so that they would come and connect with me. It's the way I've designed it, he would say. a royal priesthood, a spiritual house designed to connect people to God. You're going to see now pictures that tell the story better than I told it.